Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. So we're going to be talking about two listings in today's video, and this video is going to be posted on both properties' listing pages. Reason that we're doing that is because both properties are geographically very close to one another, and pretty much anything I tell you about one will pertain equally to the other property. So we're just going to make one video. What we are doing that's a little different today is that what we're selling are double lots, okay? So what we've got here is, say, listing number one, which is a combination of two lots, and listing number two, which is a combination of another two lots. Now, these are not adjacent lots, okay? I just want to make that clear. If you press the buy now button and you buy this property for $3,500, you're not buying one big property, you're buying two separate little properties that just sit very close to one another. They have a legal easement between them, so they do not share a property boundary. That said, what I have seen many times over in the past with customers is that somebody will buy a property from us and they'll say, do you have the lot next to it? And I'll say, well, yeah, but it's not adjacent. They say, I don't care, I want it. And they buy it. Or they'll say, do you have anything close? And I'm like, well, I got a property down the street. And they say, I don't care, I want it. So we're going to try listing these this way, and we'll see if this interests you guys. I think there are some benefits to this, which I'll discuss in the video. If I'm wrong, if 90 days go by and we don't sell these properties, we'll relist them as 4 individual listings. Okay, so right now, we'll roll the dice, we'll take our chances. But anyway, the point is that these lots all sit within the town of Deming in Luna County, New Mexico. And we're going to focus on one listing, but let's just kind of introduce you to both of these. So first off, we've got LNM-1608A. This is in Luna County, in Deming, in the subdivision of Tomorrowland Estates. It's a combination of 2 individual 3/4 acre lots that totals 1.5 acres, okay? And we are also going to be selling the sister property, which is LNM-1608C, also Luna County, also the town of Deming, also Tomorrowland Estates. Now, it should be noted the only difference here is that this is a 1 acre total, or 2 individual half-acre lots. Whatever the case, both of these properties, both these listings that we're selling are both $3,500, okay? And by the way, if we pull these up on a map, this is where the A property is located. It's located here between Carnelian Road, which is well indicated here on the map, and a road called Holloway, which is not well drawn out here on the map. But the point is that those would be the 2 access roads for the properties. The other properties that we're going to be selling, and which I'm actually going to spend more time talking about in this video, are located here between Rose and Barbara Drives. This is the C property, and as you can see, they sit here. So first off, let's talk about where this is in the state of New Mexico. If you're not familiar with the locations I've named so far, let's talk about Luna County, let's talk about Deming, and show you guys exactly where this is. So the North Star of all New Mexico geography, of course, is Albuquerque. Pretty much everybody knows that. Albuquerque's way north of these properties. Albuquerque's about 320 miles north, something like that. But down here in the southern portion of the state where these properties sit, they are very close to Las Cruces. Las Cruces, of course, is the second most densely populated city in the state. And these properties, if we right-click and measure distance, we can see that they sit roughly about an hour west of Las Cruces. And of course, because you're right here along the I-10, this is a pretty easy hour drive, probably goes pretty quickly, 70, 75, 80 miles an hour. Maybe you could pull it off in 45 minutes. I don't know. But the point is that they're pretty close to Las Cruces. And in being close to Las Cruces, they're also close to El Paso down here, as well as some other notable landmarks in this part of the state, such as White Sands, such as the Lincoln National Forest up here, the Gia National Forest up here, and really a bunch of other attractions, but we'll focus right now on just the stuff that's in Las Cruces, okay? Anyway, with that said, Luna County is a little square county down here at the southern portion of the state. Mexico borders it to the south, and the population seat of Luna County is Deming. That is also the county seat. That is where you will find the biggest concentration of population. As you can see when we zoom in here on the map, from satellite view, you can see that there's a lot of homes, a lot of businesses out here. It's a pretty built-up little region. It's not, a desert town in the middle of nowhere. So you got about 15,000 people who live out here. And with that, you've got a Walmart supercenter very close by. This is the subject property here. Walmart is like a mile and a half away. Additionally, you've got the Deming Municipal Airport. By the way, guys, I should mention Google is being very temperamental with how it's labeling things tonight on when doing these videos. But this is the International Airport. Now, additionally, in this region, of course, you've got schools, churches, hospitals, pretty much every fast food restaurant in the country. You've got some big box stores, so on and so forth. It's a pretty major little town. Whatever the case, just north of the I-10 here is where this C property sits, and as noted, the A property is just right over here. Anyway, I'm just going to have you guys know that the C property so we've got two lots. We've got one that sits here right off of Rose Drive, and we've got one that sits right here off of Barbara Drive. And I can show you what that looks like on the plat map that we have here on the listing page. First off, our Google Earth imagery gives you a sense of here's one lot, here's the other, and between them they're separated by a legal easement. And what I mean by legal easement is basically anybody who owns land here needs to be able to get to their properties, and for some reason the developer built one legal easement, a second one, and then they built a third one. So in theory, in the future, the county could come along and put a road right through here. So if you buy both these properties, you can't build a house right here. You don't have one big 1 acre property, you have two smaller half-acre properties. And you can see that represented further here on the plat map, which shows you that there's two lots, lot 22 and lot 27. 22 is the northern one here off of Rose Drive, and 27 is the one off of Barbara Drive. Whatever the case, here on the map, you can see that so you've got a pretty little developed region here. Obviously, Deming's a pretty big town, and you're just north of the highway here, so you've got a lot of homes in this area as well, some over here, and then within the immediate vicinity of the subject property, you've got one right here, you've got ones right here along Barbara, one right here, and something right here, as well as the Desert Vista RV Village right here. There's also a little Mexican restaurant up here. So the point is, going up and down Rose and going up and down Barbara, you have power lines. So you have power at the lot line of both of these lots. And you have underground utilities that are servicing this region. Now, there's not an underground utility box on these specific properties, but there is on the corner of Rose and on the corner of Barbara and what's called Country Club Road. Okay, so power at the lot line and underground utilities servicing the region. Now, additionally, we just want to point out some of the little benefits of the geography here. Number one is Gold, what is it called? North Gold Ave is right here. North Gold Ave, just south of here, it is called Highway 11 down here. And just north of the I-10, it is, hang on, zooming in, it is the 180, okay? I don't know why, but it changes. Anyway, the point is that with this, of course, you've got kind of an easy drive up here into the Gila National Forest, into this region, or here into Silver City. If, however, you take the Hatch Highway, if you come out of the property right here and you take the Hatch Highway, let's say you want to go for a weekend up to Elephant Butte Lake. The nice thing about this, about having the 26 is what it's called, that close to you, is that you really don't have to make this drive all the way over to Las Cruces and then all the way north. You can take the Hatch Highway up here, come in just south of Salem, New Mexico, right here, just south of Salem, and you can make your way up either to Caballo Lake or to Elephant Butte Lake up here. Elephant Butte, of course, is the largest body of water in the state, and you're roughly about an hour and 15 minutes from that property taking this route right here. Okay, and the other nice benefit of the Hatch Highway is it's a pretty scenic little route. Whatever the case, with all that said, guys, let me show you what these properties look like, and let's get back to kind of talking about these utilities. So first off, as with all of our listing pages, we have photos here from the land itself. First, we got some local color just of what's immediately close to this property. This is the little Mexican kitchen that I was talking about earlier. That is, I think, like 2 blocks from the subject property. And then you've got some nearby homes. And of course, these homes are mobile homes, manufactured homes, but they're, nice, small, little charming homes, and the kind of thing that really gets built out here a lot in Deming, in Luna County. So this is what some of the neighbors look like. This is what, so this is Barbara off of that Country Club Drive that I was talking about. And as you can see, these are some of the aforementioned power lines. The roads out here are a little sandy, but they're overall pretty well-maintained dirt gravel roads, really can be navigated by any vehicle type, certainly to this property. And as we go through this, you will see the underground utility box that I was talking about. And more of the roads, obviously very easy to drive on, and more of just what this land is like. And of course, if you've watched any of our videos before about numerous properties that we've sold in Luna County, you know this is a pretty arid climate, pretty flat region. So of course, right here, you've got pretty flat land, pretty easy to build on. So if you're going to park a mobile or a modular home, should be pretty easy. Additionally, easy to drive to. Whatever the case, I will let you guys explore these on your own time. Now, oh, by the way, guys, we do actually have, let me just point this out. We do actually have the telephoto shots, which kind of give away the mountains that are off in the distance. But more to the point, we've got the drone shots, and then we've kind of got the property outlines here. And you can see even more what some of the neighbors look like and just what the surrounding region looks like. It's pretty well built up out here, more so than a lot of properties that we sell. Anyway, with all that said, let's talk about zoning. Let's talk about covenants. So as noted, both of these listings sit within the Tomorrowland Estates subdivision. And we've got this discussed right here. As with all these subdivisions that were created back in the 50s and 60s, this one was in the late 60s. The developer, subdivided this little region. They created a bunch of lots, and then they created covenants and restrictions for this area. And covenants and restrictions, of course, go with the land. A lot of times we want to be careful about what we buy because those covenants or restrictions could be very strict. They could be ridiculous. These, however, seem very reasonable to me. If you click on this link right here, it's going to take you to the Tomorrowland Estates CCR's Covenants and Restrictions, and you can read through this document. It's a pretty easy read, guys. There's not much going on here. And these are what we like to define as pretty light, reasonable, good neighbor covenants. And just to go over some of these, for instance, point number 6 here, no noxious or offensive activity shall be carried out upon any lot. All right, that seems reasonable. Point number 12 specifically says no swine may be raised, kept, or bred on any lot. I think everybody appreciates that. Okay, if you're building a house, you got kids, you don't want pigs around. Okay. And point number 17 has to do with no livestock. Okay, no goats and pigs and chickens and things like that. But some other points that you should be aware of here within these covenants and restrictions. Point number 2, no lot shall be used except for residential purposes. Okay, so these are residential lots. That seems pretty obvious based on the surroundings. And point number 3 indicates that no dwelling shall be permitted on any lot of which the grand floor area of the main structure, exclusive of one-story open porches and garages, shall be less than 1,200 square feet. So the point is, if you are one of these people who calls all the time looking for a property in which you could do a tiny home, this is probably not it. Whatever the case, it does sort of dictate minimum square footage. Additionally, they do have some notes in here about time limit to build. Basically, anything that you begin construction on or any home that you park there that you're going to skirt with a permanent foundation or whatever, they'd like that done in 6 months, at least per the covenants. Now, is anybody enforcing the covenants? I don't know, but theoretically, per the law, they could enforce the covenants. So you will see that indicated in here, guys. If you're serious about buying either of these properties, I would encourage you to read through these. Now, more to the point, when we discuss covenants, we're usually discussing something that's in the middle of some rural nowhere. Because this is in a developed town, we researched the zoning on this, and we write about that here in this little bullet point. This is defined as B1 dwelling district, and we have here a PDF that if you click on this, it's going to bring up a gargantuan document of really, how long is this? 193 pages. I'm sure no one will ever want to read that. Whatever the case, guys, if you go to page 27, where you will find this map, and let's wait for it to refresh. So this is a map of Deming, and it gives you a sense of just how all the zones within Deming break down. They're kind of color-coded. And as you can see, up here in this region, this yellow region, where these properties will be located, is the single-family residential district. Now, I'm just going to pause the video a second. I paused the video so I could flip the map around, so now we can read the next page right side up. Ah, look at that. Anyway, so residential zoning up here, it breaks down into a bunch of these. And when we called Luna County, we asked them, okay, so we're buying land in Tomorrowland Estates. How is this zoned exactly? When I see the yellow on the map, I assume it's some kind of A1, A3, something like that. They define this as a B1 dwelling district, which could be houses, house trailers, mobile home parks, so on and so forth. Now, just a quick thing, guys. You can read through this document. You can learn more about a B1 dwelling district. It's probably just best to call the county planning and zoning if you have really hyper-specific questions. Obviously, a lot of times with these listings, the best thing to do is just look at what's being built around it, and that gives you a sense of what you could do. So here's one of your neighbor's houses, here's one of your neighbor's houses, and here's another. This is probably what they expect of you. A one-story type of thing, an SFR, 1,200 square feet minimum, something like that, okay? Probably you're not planning on building anything too extravagant. Whatever the case, I will caution you guys that, we talk to the county, they call it a B1 district, and, a lot of times you can call the county, you get person A on a Monday, they give you one answer. You call person B on a Tuesday, they'll give you a different answer. Sometimes completely opposite answers. So just proceed with caution. If this is something that you're looking at seriously, you may want to call, you may want to poke into that on your own because... I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in what people tell me on the phone sometimes. At the very least, guys, if you're going to be misinformed, I'd rather you be misinformed by somebody at the county and not me. Anyway, but B1 dwelling district is what we were told. This is how it's zoned. So you get a sense of what you can build out there. And of course, if you dig through this document a little more, it'll go into greater detail on that. All right, guys. With all that said, let's get back to this. So The subject property, you are in a region that is being serviced by the Columbus Electric Co-op. That is the power company that services this region. If you click this link, it's going to take you to their webpage where you can learn more about power services. Of course, if you're going to buy this property, you've already got power at the lot line, though this may be a conversation you want to have with them. Hey, I'm planning on building X, Y, and Z. What does it take to get power extended to that structure? What should I anticipate the cost to be? We always recommend to our buyers, these are good conversations to have in advance of giving us or anyone else money. Additionally, guys, this is a region that has city utilities, though I'm not entirely certain how this works. I don't see water lines out there, but I also don't see wells. But obviously, people aren't living in homes like the ones I showed you without clean bathing and drinking water. Assuming for 2 seconds, worst case scenario, you have to drill a well. We've got a link here for the Office of the New Mexico State Engineer. It's going to take you to their website where you can learn more about getting permitted for a well and getting water rights in this region. That said, again, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think this is a city utility. I think this is city utilities. And actually, it's discussed a little bit on the Columbus Electric Co-op page where they talk about water services. So you can dig into that there more. Anyway, blah, 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 guys. Furthermore, one final thing, guys. So we're doing this. This is an experiment. We want to see if two lots that aren't completely adjacent but are very close to one another is going to interest you guys. We'll see if it does. I think there is some merit to a purchase like this. I know some people will want to, say, okay, we're going to live on one lot and our adult children will live on the other, or we live on one and our aging parents might live on the other, something like that. Or some of you who are casual investors might buy one, live on that, and buy the other and resell that, or lease that to somebody who, just lives on the land and pays you rent. Something like that. Whatever the case, if these properties do appeal to you guys, I'd encourage you to come up here, click the Buy Now button. It's going to take you to a secure checkout where you will be able to initiate this transaction, enter legal name for deed, enter some other information that we need, tax address, agree to the terms of service, click next, and on the very next page, we will ask for credit or debit card information. Once you make the payment, we're going to reach out to you. We're going to get you a deed plus some supplemental docs within 24 hours. You approve those. We're going to autograph them, notarize them, mail them off to Luna County to be recorded. Luna records, and then they will forward on to you. From start to finish is about 3 weeks before that's in your hand, but we are the owners of this property, and once you give us money, as far as we are concerned, you are the owner. Guys, I will have you know there are little slight differences between these two properties, so please do just check out the property-specific notes here. That will enumerate the minor differences between these, just so you know. But we talked about C in this video. I'd encourage you guys, if you're interested in either of these properties, you're interested in A, read the property-specific notes. There's little minor differences that you need to be aware of. With that said, guys, thanks for watching, and hope this appeals to you. This is a little experiment. We'll see how well this goes. Of course, if you have any questions, guys, leave a comment here on the YouTube. Thanks again.